Darren Till,
Yo guys,
Mercs, Ben Askren, beats the fuck out of Nate Diaz. He's a different person now. Did you see what Masvidal did?
If you could do one thing right now, you could just teleport there and be doing it. What would you want to do right now?
I would teleport to a nice sushi restaurant in Kyoto and just enjoy.
You go by
He
yourself?
does have some very hard matchups.
I would want to be there.
But if you can
Because
play
it'd be
him in
good
a
to go to
game where
Japan with
the
someone who
matchups
speaks
favorable,
Japanese.
then
What makes you think I can speak
yeah, that's pretty
Japanese?
decent.
I mean,
Now in this game,
I have
we're playing
eyes.
against Sheiko
I mean, look at me
Katarina.
and like, what do you see?
My Diego also
A man.
toward level 1.
Like, I look like
And
I can
you
probably play
guys are
basketball
going
a
to
little bit, right?
understand
So you look
why,
at me and you think I
in my
can speak
opinion,
Japanese?
Oh, 100%.
especially
Yeah, you look like a
when you play
geisha.
against these
You
early
got that same skin color that they go for.
You do not want to waste your ward level 1 ever. Now, I'm playing into Katarina here. Katarina is an interesting matchup. I used to struggle a lot in the past versus Katarina, but I feel like now it's way easier. When you play versus champions like Sheiko, champions like Zac, Rek'Sai, these champions where they can kind of jump over the wall and gank you from any angle, you have to be very careful. Now, I could have warded Raptors, but I'm going to save my ward, and you will understand why later. So, early game, you just want to chill and farm. You know, I'm playing bone plating, which is really important, as you guys can see here. If I didn't mess up, if I just auto-attacked her back, then I would have won this trade. She's playing D-Shield, she's not playing D-Blade. If she was playing D-Blade Conqueror, then I would have to walk back. But because she's playing Electrocute and D-Shield, I should have just stood my ground and auto-attacked her back there. Now, we continue to push. I'm being a bit skeptical, you know, I don't want to die to a level 3 Sheiko gank. That's why I'm walking back preemptively, and I only walk forwards when I see that it's free. Here I walk up and I ward here. Why do I ward here? Because what happens is Sheiko has 2 options, or 3 options, sorry. 3 camps into mid gank, and that's why I was playing safe. Or he's gonna 3 camps, full clear his top side and gank the top side. Katarina is still playing aggressive here. I got a really good trade onto her. She's, you know, trading into my wave, so that's kind of troll. Now here, something very important happens. We are in a very unique position here. Now, this is very important. I queue the wave. Why do I queue the wave? Because I want to waste Sheiko's time. I was literally thinking about this. I was like, okay, Sheiko didn't show bot. This is Sheiko's gank timer. He didn't show top. He must be mid. I know that Sheiko is... Look at Katarina as well. Like, she's posturing up at times where she shouldn't be posturing up. I know Sheiko is mid. I'm pretending to walk up here. I want Sheiko to gank my lane. Now, Sheiko comes mid. Katarina gets baited. Katarina dies. I flashed her flash. Now, look, here's the thing. It doesn't matter that I killed Katarina. Just me wasting Sheiko's time is already a big win. Even if I didn't kill the Katarina there, Sheiko ganking my lane and wasting that gank will win us the game. Because now we saw Sheiko walking bot. Sheiko is now tilted. Sheiko is... his tempo is now horrible. He hasn't even farmed Silver Crab right now. He goes bot because he's tilted. He goes for this gank. Even if Kai'Sa dies there, which he should have, it doesn't matter. Like, Sheiko's game is now so delayed because he ganked mid lane and he failed the gank. So, a lot of people, they talk about the concept of avoiding ganks. I would say, in my opinion, don't try to avoid ganks. Because if you can bait people to gank your lane and they mess up the gank, then it's really bad for them. Now you can see already I'm trading very differently. The reason why I'm trading differently is because I know Sheiko is not going to be mid. You can see that when I know that Sheiko is not going to be here, I'm a lot more aggressive. The reason why I was playing safe was because I was considering level 2 ganks, level 3 ganks. I've seen Sheiko gank level 2 has happened before. So Kai'Sa spam pings me here, so I hover bot side. I'm not even sure why. The wave was fine. And now I go back mid lane. Again, I'm just going to play safe here. I'm not going to try to kill the enemy mid lane 1v1. A lot of people would try here to kill Katarina 1v1, and that is where they would mess up. Your goal as a mid laner now is not to kill the enemy mid laner 1v1. That's not how you play the game as a mid laner. It's way better to get the enemy mid laner to be low HP rather than going for the, kills. So here I'm watching bot lane. I go for the ult. I go on Alistar here because I don't know what stuff Ezreal has. We get a free kill on Alistar. Now, I don't know where Katarina is. I know that Katarina is probably gonna come bot. So I just type here to my team, guys, care. We start pinging as well. My team listens, fortunately. There are some cases in your solo queue games where your team is not gonna listen. If they don't listen, well, there's not much you can do about it. And here we spot her on the ward there. So we know that she was actually coming bot lane. And in fact, we knew she was coming bot because Shaco appeared mid lane. Now, at this point of the game, you have one goal. Preserve your lead. Don't think too much about snowballing your lead. The enemy is now in a bad position. You need to wait for them to make a play and just set up the conditions to make that play bad. That's how your psychology should be, in my opinion. So I'm not gonna try to, pressure this Katarina 1v1. I'm not gonna try to kill her 1v1. As you can see, I go for very short trades and then I walk back because I'm always considering that Shaco needs to make a play right now. And the only way that they're gonna win the game is if I mess up and I die, or my teammates die as well. But even if my teammates die, that's something which is out of my control, so I'm just going to focus on what I can do. So I see that Jax is probably going to die here, so I preemptively walk up, try to push the wave. I'm looking at bot lane at all times. Like, my eye is constantly on the minimap, and I'm just staring at bot lane. The second that something happens, I'm going to sprint towards bot lane. Now, Shaco appears on the map, so I walk up towards Shaco. I know that we can win this fight because Katarina is low. He decides to walk back. If he decided to commit, then I would have went for it. Now, Katarina is not that low, but, she was slightly chunked. We go for Drake instead, and I just have to chill. I don't need to make any plays. A lot of the time, the best play is no play. And again, people don't realize this. Some people, when they play League, they just want things to happen all the time. Like, constantly make plays, make plays, make plays. So here, why do I go for the trade? Because I see Shaco. If I don't see Shaco here, I would not be walking up. With TF versus Katarina, it's very easy to trade versus Katarina. Just walk up, stun, and just run away and make sure that you can't trade back. Another reason why I went for that trade was because Katarina had no Q, I think it was. So here, I walk towards my Viego. I really wanted to reset because ideally here you reset and you get your mana back, maybe some components so that I can ult bot on time. So this is actually kind of a mistake. I should have based here, but it is what it is. But when you play TF, it's very important to be very precise with your ults. So look at this Katarina, man. This Katarina is desperate to get the kill. She really wants to trade with me, and you can tell based on her playstyle very early on that she just wants to kill me 1v1. So here I'm baiting her. I get her to go in. I know she's going to turn on me. I ignite her. I flash stun, and I'm not going to chase this. A lot of people would make the mistake of chasing this. I'm just going to trust my Viego to get the kill. And if he doesn't get the kill, he doesn't get the kill. It's whatever. It's not worth dying for, a kill. You need to value your own tempo when you play this champion. It's very important. So we get the kill. Again, this is, in my opinion, a mistake because I should not be in a position where my Viego has to come mid. And imagine if I was on the map, we would have already killed that enemy bot lane. So this is why sometimes it's way better to just base, even if there's something happening. It would have been better if I just pinged my Viego to go back and to give Raptors and for me to just get the base off. So here, I see Alistar overextending. I stun him. He's going to push me off the wall. Katarina is here. Now this is where things get messed up. Alistar kind of fails for Viego, and now we both end up dying. Now, honestly, I should have just left. There is no way we're gonna win that. And even if there was a way, it's just way too risky, and it's a risk that you don't have to take. When you have a lead, you don't need to take risks. You only want to take risks when you're super behind and you have to take those risks. But it is what it is. I'm not going to type anything. I'm not going to, you know, blame my Viego for failing his Alistar Q because shit happens. You know, a lot of people, what happens is something like this happens. They freak out. They start typing. Now their Viego is tilted. Now the entire team might get tilted because you type one thing in chat. I do sometimes type, don't get me wrong. But it's better if you don't, if you really want to win your games. So, you know, I just move on, happens. People are allowed to make mistakes. We're not even playing at the highest level. We're playing like 400 over Master Tier. People make mistakes even in the LEC. So who am I to sit here and flame someone for failing something, you know, failable when it comes to a solo queue game in Master Tier. But anyways, we move on. I'm just going to take some plates here. I have one goal in mind right now. I see that my Kai'Sa is dead. I just want to not die. I honestly could have died there because if Shaco was mid, I would have died. So looking back, this was not a goal, especially with Katarina having double buffs and me not knowing where Shaco is. Katarina still really wants to trade with me here, and she's kind of winning the trades. But at the end of the day, I could just recall at any time. So I'm not really too concerned. I could have just based here. I type in chat that Cat is very aggro just to give my team some information. But you can see that my tempo has been greatly disturbed because of one small action that has happened earlier on in the game. Can you guess what it was? It was me not basing. If I had based at that one timer when Viego wanted to go on Shaco, the entire game would be different right now. So many things would have not happened. Katarina wouldn't have gotten a double kill. My Viego wouldn't have died again after. A lot of things would have gone differently. So this is why it's very important in League to be aware of the consequences of your mistakes. So you can be more aware of, you know, base timers are very important when it comes to League. Anyways, we move on. Right now my ult is up. I asked my Janna to just stay bot lane so we can look for a play onto the enemy bot lane. My Kai'Sa is not on the map yet, so I'm just waiting for it to come. Eventually she does walk up, but I see that she has no R. Now when you play Kai'Sa TF, there is a very obviously strong interaction, which is you can ult on someone very far away from Kai'Sa and stun them, and then Kai'Sa can just ult forward. So again, I know that this Katarina is really aggro. I'm not trying to flip a 1v1 against her, even though I think if I really try, I probably can kill her 1v1 eventually, but it's just not worth trying at all. So I see Ezreal here, I see that my Kai'Sa has ult. And I'm just waiting. I see on the minimap that he E'd forward. And he's going Ignite. My Viego comes as well. I take the power shot. I take the Alistar. Now I see the Katarina is going to come bot lane as well. So I'm chilling. Now I know that Katarina just went missing somewhere in mid. She ends up showing here as well. So I start spamming in my teammates. They see me on this pink board, which is actually a good thing because now they might try something. So, you know, it's important to understand the psychology of the enemy team. Whenever a play happens, the enemy team always try to play something. Here, the Katarina goes in, even done. But even without ult, she would kill you. Get a free kill onto Katarina, and at this point the game is basically won. Now, it is won, but at the same time it's not, because you need to know how to close out the game. A lot of throws happens in this elo, a lot. So imagine if you're playing in your silver or your gold or your emerald game, it's going to be even more. So knowing how to close out the game at this time is important. So what are the risk factors? Well, dying in side lane. So how do we prevent this? Now, Katarina is dead here, so I know that I'm completely safe to just push a bunch of waves. I want to push maybe 1 or 2 waves. I will be weak-sided right now because my Viego is top-side. So the second that Katarina is alive, and look at this by the way, 3 roses, that's kind of crazy. Anyways, so Shaco might be here, so I'm just gonna play safe. Now, this is what you need to understand. When you're playing side lane, if your jungler is not hovering you and you don't know where the enemy jungler is, don't risk it unless you have to, right? So now Shaco appears. I went for a short trade there just because I've got pretty good vision coverage in my river, so I knew that Shaco wouldn't be there. But I'm not going to try to kill Katarina here. Katarina is pretty strong, especially being with exhaust. Now, she doesn't have exhaust right now. I know that she's used it, but, you know, I don't want to risk it. Now, my Kai'Sa ends up dying mid lane, which is kind of whatever happens. So I decide to go mid lane to cover mid. In my opinion, personally, I think mid turret is broken. I know LS said something about mid turret not being very important, but I think mid turret is extremely OP because whoever pushes mid will control the map a lot more. So again, Ezreal tries to go in here. I'm chilling. I'm not going to be dumb. Like, I'm not going to try to fight him. I'm not going to take the bait. I don't need to risk anything. This is, again, what people don't understand when you play League. When you're in a good position, you don't have to risk anything. All I need to do with TF is wait for my R. Once I have my R, I'm gonna fish a wave and I'm gonna look for the play, and that's it. Katarina, look, everyone's trying to kill me. Everyone. Ezreal comes in, he tries to, you know, go in. Alistar comes in, he goes in, I lose my flash. You see, this is why it wasn't worth it. I got baited here. I got baited and I ended up losing my flash. Now Kai'Sa pings on her way mid. This is something that you can do with TF. You can ask your AD carry to go side lane whilst you stay mid, and you can basically just cover her. I see that Alistar is on his way. I actually saw him on the but I just knew that I cannot play this. I don't know why I knew it, but I just feel like I knew that I could. I also saw that Janna was on her way, so Alistar wouldn't be able to reach me in time. We get the kill. I just feel like I know my limits in terms of damage. And yeah, so Kai'Sa gets the turret, which is like 700 gold. And you also get the kill on the so, again, another instance where I created a lot of pressure and wasted a lot of time. But in my opinion, it was unnecessary. It was not a risk that I needed to take. And looking back, it would have been better if I just played safe, held on to my flash, and I made another solo queue is 100% about consistency. You always want to try, especially when you're ahead, to make the play which is the most consistent. And that play was not very consistent. But now looking back at this, maybe actually a mistake. So I don't have to and I kind of but you know, it worked out anyways. So you get the kill. Again, the game is not over yet. Now what happens when you take ulti 2 turrets? Because usually the goal is, and that's why I was walking top, once you take ulti 1s, you want to take T2s, and then you basically just push to end the game. My team here, imagine if I just stayed mid, I would have R right now, and I could just ult onto mid lane, and then my team would have died here. So that's kind of unlucky. My team should not fight, but it's solo queue, they're gonna fight. You know, you can't stop your teammates from fighting in solo queue. So here I ping Atacon, I want to go RFC. I have been experimenting with full AP TF, and I think it's pretty strong, but in games where your teammates are super ahead, like this game with my Kai'Sa being really fed and my Viego being really fed, I think RFC is way better, especially when you do not have an engaged support, because we have a Janna. So if you go RFC, you can be the person that engages the fight. So now all you have to do before the objective is keep mid push. So at the top spawning here, if this is Baron or Drake, it will be the same thing. We push. For some reason, my dumbass thought that Atacon was topside, so that's why I walked top. But anyways, as you guys can see, Ezreal and Alistar have to deal with this wave now. So yeah, well, Katarina also gets this. I feel like the three roses are kind of broken. It's kind of unfortunate. Anyways, the only play the enemy has here is to try to kill the Jax, which is what they try to do. They go top and they try to kill him. I think he ends up dying as well. He does. And yeah, now we're just gonna push, or we're gonna reset. In my opinion, the correct play is just to reset as soon as possible. Katarina goes for a 1v1. Kai'Sa is strong enough to where she can just tank it and not care. And now there's a few more fights going on. We end up killing the Katarina. Tryndamere is pushing top lane. I am going to help my Diego attract the Ezreal with a stun. Unfortunately, he doesn't take the bait, but we end up killing Alistar instead. Ezreal goes over the wall here, so I ended up just pressing R and killing him. And that is pretty much a wrap. We're just gonna base now and end the game.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
So yeah, we basically took the turret and the inhibitor and we reset. Skip that part because nothing else really happens. I go mid and I'm just watching Jax here. He's kind of controlling a little bit. He flashes up the wall, follows, almost killed her, and the shape is very important. Flash over here. Don't know if I don't really want to use that much HP because I don't want to reset. Jax insists on taking the debuff, which is like, sure, I guess. Kai'Sa goes for a play. I almost ended up dying, which is funny. And yeah, now we're just gonna end the game pretty much. It was not very clean because a lot of things could have gone wrong. I was low, Kai'Sa was low. It would have been better if Jax just waited for us. And then we just pushed us 5, but Jax didn't want to wait. So what you guys can learn from this is if you're in Jax's position, wait for your team to be on the map instead of throwing the game. Games like these are 100% losable. I've seen so many games like this get lost because people don't want to wait for literally 30 seconds and do nothing. That's most of people's problems, especially in Master Tier. People are not comfortable with doing nothing. They want to push leads as much as they possibly can. They want to take and take and take, and they don't know when to chill and just do nothing. Sometimes that's all you have to do to win the game. Do nothing and let the enemy play with that mentality, and they're going to mess up, and you just have to be there when they mess up. It's not hard to just push waves and wait for the enemy to make a mistake and for the right angle to appear, rather than trying to, you know, play super aggressive and then you get ganked 20 times in a row and lose the game. So yeah, you know, that's in my opinion what the correct playstyle is. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to spam that much solo queue or to live stream because my internet's been out, or at least my internet's been inconsistent. But I'm not sure if it's fixed yet. It might be, but regardless, we'll see what happens when I might be back. Watching me climb. Now, guys, if you've watched this far, please like the video and comment. I don't want to be one of those guys, but generally, just know that we get. So if you want to see more videos, that is my way of knowing if this style of video works. So if you want to see more commentaries, just comment or like the video and I'll take it as an indication. So see you guys. Have a nice day.